Hello and welcome to the Chaos to Calm podcast, episode number 74. I'm Sarah, the perimenopause naturopath, your guide through this journey of perimenopause. If you're over 40 and feeling like your changing hormones are hijacking your mood, energy, and weight, and you want to change that in a holistic way, then this is the place for you because each episode I share with you my views on what's happening in your body, why you're feeling the way you are, and how you can change that with actionable advice to help you move from chaos to calm and feel more comfortable in your body again. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's get into today's topic. But first, my life update. I've enjoyed giving these to you. Hopefully that you're finding them tedious. So I wonder if you've ever stayed up late wrapping gifts. Not have you ever. How many times? We're mostly mums here, aren't we? We've all stayed up late wrapping gifts. Scrolling through holiday sales, who felt totally overwhelmed by the Black Friday sales? I ended up not buying nothing because there was just too many sites for me to look at. And I usually make a list through the year of what I'm going to buy in Black Friday sales, like towel, sheets, that kind of thing. So usually I have some Christmas presents that I have in mind. But yeah, due to the indecisiveness of my children, that was not in place this year. I had also invested most of my spare money in a lamb and a quarter of a cow just before Black Friday. So I feel like that was a rookie error, even though I'm not really a rookie at this. So next year, needless to say, it will not be stocking the freezer just before Black Friday. I'll get myself organized and do it much earlier than that. Yeah, sleep is hard to come by in perimenopause, and it changes too. It's really interesting. This is what we're talking about today is sleep, because like lots of things at this time of year, it can play second fiddle to all the rest of the things on your to-do list and everything that you need to do. You stay up late, wrapping gifts, holiday sales, like I said, and then you're like a zombie the next day because most of you probably have found this too. You tend to wake up at the same time, even if you've gone to sleep later. Like it's not like when you were younger, if you went to bed at 1 or 2, you'd easily be able to sleep till 10. No, now you still wake up at 6 or 6:30 or whatever your internal alarm clock is. So I don't need to tell you that those late nights are sabotaging more than just how you feel and your mood. There's a lot actually that goes on in your body that relies on us sleeping. But I'm not necessarily really here to tell you about that because that's not super helpful. Plus, I've done other blogs on a lack of sleep and weight loss resistance. I've talked about it in insulin resistance in the insulin episode as well. Your weight set point, I've talked about it there too. So I've covered it off a lot of times. So I'm not here today about that. So don't worry, keep listening, stay with me here. I'm actually going to talk to you about how to get more sleep or get more quality sleep during the holiday time. Because holiday season, full of sparkle, but without good sleep, we're not full of sparkle. Everything feels exhausting and hard. We feel like the Grinch. I'm saying that, I'm hoping it's not just me, but I know I'm pretty confident it's not just me. It's hard not to feel like the Grinch when you're in perimenopause at Christmas time. And without sleep, we're all just tall 2-year-olds. And perimenopause makes it harder for us to get enough sleep. And also the quality of it changes as well because of our hormone shifts. And that disrupts our melatonin production, which is our main get to sleep and stay asleep hormone. But it also impacts our cortisol, which can have us waking up earlier and also finding it hard to go to sleep, but also then having a hard time staying asleep. But your hormone shifts also disrupt the key sleep stages like deep sleep and your REM. And so I'm going to tell you a bit about how sleep works and why you want to care about not having that deep sleep and the REM, but also some things that you can do just to help try and get some better sleep. It's not necessarily a short game, but, let's use some basic tools and try and improve the quality and quantity of your sleep just to help you get through And then so you can, maybe work on it in the new year, work on overall health or improving your health so that you can reduce your perimenopause symptoms and reduce the impact of those hormone shifts on things like sleep. Okay. So I mentioned that your hormones shift and change and that impacts your sleep. And it's estrogen and progesterone, very no surprise, as they decline. Particularly progesterone, that's really important for us in our sleep. So that's the first that kind of declines quite rapidly in comparison to our other hormones. So it's harder for us to regulate our sleep cycles and get to sleep and things like that. But estrogen also impacts our melatonin production. So as estrogen's declining gradually over time, your melatonin declines as well. So that makes it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. But also when you've got variations in your other hormones, like your follicle stimulating hormone and your luteinizing hormone, they can contribute to hot flushes and sweats, as can estrogen surges and cortisol as well. So I've done a couple of different podcast episodes on hot flushes, and the jury's kind of out on what's causing it. But my observation as the perimenopause naturopath is that stress and cortisol makes that flushes and sweats infinitely worse. And for most of my clients, if they're waking up feeling hot and sweaty, it also correlates to a particularly busy or stressful or worrisome time of life. So I would say that would be the first place that I go to and think about for you if that's you, if you're waking up hot and sweaty. And again, it can relate to more to the loss of progesterone, because progesterone is nature's calming hormone. It's our inbuilt mood enhancer. It's our inbuilt Valium. It promotes relaxation. It supports us going to sleep. It supports deep sleep. So when it declines, you might find yourself sort of lying awake. Maybe your brain starts racing. You can't shut it off. And you might be more fragile in terms of your staying asleep. So like I said, like holiday stress, sugary foods or more processed foods, maybe an extra glass of wine, they can really throw off your sleep. And again, progesterone has an impact on our immune system. So that response to the wine can be histamine related, so immune system related. Again, I've done a couple of podcast episodes on histamine and histamine intolerance. I'm going to have a lot to put in the show notes for you today. There's a lot we're talking about. Sleep is really important, but you can see already it's impacted by a lot of things. Unfortunately, we get in a bit of a vicious cycle with insomnia, and especially when it's perimenopause related. But really, anytime you are having trouble sleeping, regardless of what phase of life you're at, you can get stuck in a bit of a cycle around it. And the less that you sleep, the higher your cortisol climbs. So your body's sort of got more of those stress hormones in it. And that can disrupt your natural circadian rhythm, which guides when we go to sleep, stay asleep, wake up, and have us waking up earlier. So we can feel tired but wired at night and have a hard time going to sleep, but also waking about 2 or 3 a.m. is classic cortisol signs there as well. So there's lots of different things happening. You can see like we've got all these hormone changes. It's the busiest phase of life for most women. It's really no wonder that sleep becomes so elusive and hard to get in this phase of life. All right. So question, when was the last time that you woke up feeling really rested? Like you could take on the day without feeling like you need 3 coffees. If it's been a while, then you really need to hear this. And if it's been a long while, then stay here. I'm going to help you change that. And maybe you need to consider working on overall health and in the coming year to really help improve your sleep. But not just improve your sleep, like that's one factor, yes. But we also need to help improve our body's stress resilience. I know I talk about that a lot, but that's really important because, again, declining progesterone means we have declining stress resilience. So we become more reactive to our daily stresses, the things in our life that are triggering that stress response and stress hormones in our brain. So and also improving our cells' energy production as well. And those are the things that I do with my clients in Perimeno Go and my one-to-one clients in the Chaos to Calm method. Yeah, is really helping improve that stress resilience and improving your health at that cellular level so that your energy production is better, your mood hormones, your sleep hormones, all of those things. Your cells are working how they're meant to, so those hormones are being produced and metabolized in the way that is ideal or optimal for you. All right, so let's talk a bit about sleep and sleep cycles, because I think that's really, you need to understand this. And also, if you've got like a smartwatch, first of all, don't sleep with it in flight mode if you have it on, so it's not buzzing you and your body constantly while you're trying to sleep. Same with your phone. Actually, this is a bonus tip because I don't think I have that in there. If your phone is near your head or, heaven forbid, under your pillow or something like that, at the very least, it needs to be in flight mode, but ideally it should be like a meter from you. And if you use it for your alarm, well, it'll work even better if you have to get up out of bed and to get it and turn it off. So flight mode and far from your head, please. Same with your alarm clock. Any of those things that are electronic and therefore have an electromagnetic field around them, they should not be near your head. All right, that was your bonus tip for today. Now, sleep happens in cycles and each of them last about 90 minutes. And there's 4 distinct stages. And so these cycles repeat about at least 4 to 6 times per night if you're sleeping well. Each stage has a different function for your body and your mind. So the first stage is light sleep, which acts as a transition between waking up and deeper rest. And this is where your body starts to relax, your breathing slows, your muscles begin to unwind. It's a kind of really light sleep when you're just sort of falling into it or you're just coming up out of it. Next usually comes deep sleep, which is slow wave sleep. This is the really most restorative phase and unfortunately is one that declines as we age. And it's difficult to increase it. But during deep sleep, this is where the repair happens in your cells and your tissues. Your immune system and immune function gets restored and rebalanced. Your metabolism regulates. Your brain clears out toxins. Like when I say toxins, it can just be like the metabolic waste products from your brain working during the day, but other stuff as well. That all gets cleared out during your deep sleep. So it's really important. That's the repair and detoxification elimination phase. And we also have REM sleep. And REM sleep, this is the other one that's important. So you have core sleep, which you're kind of just asleep. Just in the middle there, if you've got a watch that tracks your sleep, you'll see a lot of your time is spent in core sleep. And the other important stage is REM sleep. And this is when your brain becomes really active. And it's really important for us because it's when our brain is consolidating the memories the things that have come in the day. They're working to file those away in your short and long-term memory there. And processing emotions, stimulating creative thinking. There is a lot going on in REM sleep. And this is when you can be dreaming as well. So it typically REM sleep dominates the second half of your night. So this is why staying asleep until the morning is really important for your memory and emotional resilience as well. So you think about it too. If you've been waking up at 2 or 3, or maybe you've been waking up super early, like 4 or 5, and not being able to get back to sleep, or perhaps you wake at 2 and you're awake for a couple of hours, and then you're like, remembering things is difficult. And I did a podcast episode on memory recently as well, and like why it can feel really scary, like you worry about being early dementia. And this is part of the reason why, because you're not getting enough REM sleep. And it does become more difficult to get deep sleep and REM sleep in perimenopause, menopause, and certainly as we age. And because of the hormone changes and the fragmentation in our sleep. And so this is why in the morning you might be feeling really foggy and drained, even if you've been in bed for a long time. That's particularly why I bought my smartwatch, was because I really wanted to see what was happening with my sleep. And now I'm playing this game that's not really a fun game of trying to get more deep sleep. What can I try? What herbs can I try? What homeopathics? What things can I do to try and get more deep sleep? I am unfortunately not winning the war at this moment, but I am still trying. I'm not going to give up without a fight. So, more research to be had. And then I will always, of course, update you when I get that research. But let's talk about some ways that we can improve your sleep in the holiday season, particularly. We're all feeling tired now. So, I guess it's even more important than ever when there's more on, when you feel like you don't have enough time to go to bed early. It's the time when you need to go to bed early the most. So let's talk about it. Number one, first of all, I want you to try and sync with nature's clock. Now, in Australia right now and New Zealand, this is probably a bit easier to give us more time to do stuff, is by working with the sun. So we have an internal clock. It's called the circadian rhythm. Briefly mentioned it before. And it relies on light exposure to regulate our sleep hormones like melatonin. So side note, this is why devices in the evening can be a big part of the problem of not sleeping. But sunlight in the morning helps signal your brain to produce less melatonin now and wake you up. And dim lighting in the evening helps prepare your brain and for sleep and your hormones for sleep. So the best time to look at your phone is in the morning when you wake up. Also, it can make you be even less productive if you get stuck in a scroll early on in the day. But yeah, you want to get some safe sunlight exposure. Of course, don't look directly at the sun, but you want to get up and get out, maybe go for a walk in the morning or drink your coffee or eat your breakfast with seeing some sunlight in some natural light. So I want you to try and spend at least 20 minutes outside in the natural light before 10 a.m. As I said, even if it's a little walk around the block, breakfast on the patio, on your deck, whatever. The sunset will help cue your body that it's time to wind down as well in the evening. So you want to switch off the harsh overhead lights and use warm, low light lamps or candles. Maybe I should do a whole episode on candles, because I really want you to use just natural beeswax without the scents and the soy, so you're not getting the hormone disrupting chemicals from it. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned it at all. There's lots of, you can, like your LEDs, usually you can switch them to a warm light rather than a white light. So that's something that we do in our house. All the LEDs are on the warm color rather than the white or blue light, because that's what we're trying to do, is reduce that blue light exposure in the evening so that we can encourage our brain to make melatonin, our body to make melatonin. So yeah, you want to sync with the sun then. So try, like the days are getting longer here still. So you may have, depending on where you live, of course, if you're not in daylight savings, then it's going to be a bit earlier for you that the sun comes up and the sun goes down. But working loosely with the rhythm of the sun is really great. And even if that just means that in the evening when the sun goes down, you put your devices away and you turn off the white and bright lights and just use those warm low light lamps or lights, then that's something, and that's going to be helpful too. So yeah, so following on from that, sleep prep starts long before you pull back the sheets and hop into bed. So thinking about stimulants like coffee, sugar, alcohol, screens, highly chaotic environments or surroundings, or noisy, like very stimulating sensory wise, those surroundings can make it really hard to switch off when it's finally time to rest. Like I was talking with a younger client yesterday and she was saying, I'm having a bit of trouble going to sleep. And when we were talking about it, she was working or she was being out, and then she was coming home and expecting to be able to just hop straight into bed and go to sleep because she'd had sleep problems in the past. We'd worked together with her personalized nutrition plan, and she'd been having a great time just falling asleep really easily, and that was great. Now she's got a new job, she's busier, it's end of year, and she was starting to feel anxious about that her sleep, she wasn't able to go to sleep straight away. So we were talking about transitions and particularly micro transitions, so little routines or rhythms that we have when we're moving from one situation to another or one role in life to another. And it's a lot for our brain and our body if we've been out and we've been in a noisy environment and then we come in and we're just like, bang, oh, I need to go to sleep now because I'm going to be tired tomorrow if I don't have enough sleep. So having a little structured evening routine or a little routine around getting ready and going for bed, that really sends out the signals to your brain and your body. Oh, we're getting ready for bed. It's getting ready for sleep time. And it helps you physically and mentally wind down as well and switch off and start that hormone production that you need. So our body really loves routine and rhythm. And even if you don't have the same bedtime every night, if you have the same sort of bedtime routine and rhythm to your evening, then it works well to help you get to sleep. This is particularly true with kids as well, and little kids. A routine and rhythm is very useful for signaling to them that it's bedtime and time to start getting ready for sleep and stimulating the flow of the sleep hormones in their body. So I mentioned put your screens away, but what can you do? What do you like to do that helps you relax and get ready for bed? Is it maybe listening to some calming music or doing a sleep meditation or having a bath or having a shower or having a nice herbal tea that's maybe got some lavender or chamomile or some other soothing herbs in it? There's plenty on the market there for you. Just choose the ones without sugar and flavors. That'll naturally reduce it down for you. Maybe you need some blackout curtains. Now, if you live in a city or an apartment and it's very bright outside, lots of street lights and lamps, then it might be worth investing in some curtains. Oh, I don't know if that came through for you. The train was honking its horn, so hopefully no one's on the tracks or in the way of the tracks. Yeah, so you might need some thick curtains that block that out. Something I go into with my clients is your sheets, your mattress, your pillows. Particularly pillows can get really gross. If you've got polyester pillows, you need to change those regularly because they can disrupt your sleep with the dust mites and other stuff in them. I use wool pillows because they're low allergy and they don't get dust mites. And I have an allergy to latex, so that rules those out for me, and memory foam. So have a think about your bed. Is it time for a new mattress? Is that something on your wish list? Put it on your Black Friday shopping list. Maybe get it in the Boxing Day sales. Yeah, so have a think about your bed, your bedroom. How does that help you sleep? And how does are you rushing around and then just trying to jump into bed and go to sleep? Well, that's not going to work. So what do you like to do? What could you do? Maybe you could swap out your phone for a bit of reading of a book. Keep it light. Like, don't keep the educational and personal development books for the evening. They're for the daytime and your morning coffee. You want something light and easy to read and not perhaps too stimulating, like maybe not too much of a thriller or suspense if you are already having sleep issues. Don't want to add to it. So yeah, dim lights, good book, maybe a nice tea after dinner to help you start winding down. Some gentle, low, calming music. There's heaps of different playlists on Spotify. There's lots of different apps to help you with meditations and winding down. Now, okay, so you might have a whole string of late nights at the moment. Try a sleep reset night. Just try and get into bed early. You might not be able to go to sleep as soon as you get into bed after lots of late nights, but you're resting, you're lying flat, you're resting. It's really great to help release your stress hormones lying flat, especially if you don't have any more stimulation coming in. So no phone, no book, just lying quietly. So maybe Try and choose a night at least once a week where you're in bed by 9. Spend some time unwinding beforehand. I'd say like 30 minutes if you can. Herbal tea, bath or shower, doing some journaling, sort of empty your mind. If like spiraling a what-ifing mind is a thing for you, then I would suggest getting it all out on paper beforehand. And once it's on the paper, that's it. Think about it tomorrow, deal with it tomorrow. But having a nice little intentional reset can really help to try and recalibrate your sleep. Now, if you're lying in bed and you're having a hard time to get to sleep, I think a guided body scan is really lovely too to help relax your muscles, calm your nervous system, and switch off those racing thoughts. This is really mindfulness, a mindfulness meditation, and it helps reduce your stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline and really gets you promoting that deep relaxation and getting you in your nervous system into that rest and digest mode so that you can start moving into sleep. So this can be useful if you're having trouble going to sleep, or if you wake up in the nighttime and you're having trouble going back to sleep. Maybe you wake up early and you're just lying there resting. Lovely. This is all great for that as well. So there's free apps like Insight Timer, Calm, Headspace. They all have lots of guided body scans on there. Buddhify is one that I love. Is a paid app though. And yeah, really lovely. Body scans are really great. Work for adults, kids alike, especially if someone's guiding you through it. But if you want to do it yourself, just start at your toes and slowly tense and relax each muscle group. The smaller that you can kind of make it, but still be able to do it. So pause at sort of each part of your body where you can. So you might do your toes and your feet and your calves and your quads or your hamstrings around there and your glutes, your bum muscles, and working your way up. Don't forget your fingers, hands, your arms, all of that as well. And then finish up with a whole body tension and then release it. So as you tense each one, do a couple of deep breaths while you're there. Deep breath in and out. And once you get to that final one and you've relaxed everything, keep your eyes closed and try and do 10 or 5 to 10 really deep breaths lying there quietly. If you catch your brain starting to go while you're doing the body scan, then yeah, try and wind it up or just refocus on where you're at and don't get sucked into the vortex there as well. Now, magnesium, your little holiday helper. Magnesium is our master relaxing mineral as well. It's beautiful for your nervous system. It helps in metabolism and release of cortisol and adrenaline. It's helpful for melatonin production and conversion of serotonin to melatonin in your body. Many people are deficient in magnesium, and mostly, especially women. This is because the demand during stressful times outweighs what we tend to get in our food. But magnesium-rich foods, leafy greens, almonds, pumpkin seeds are just some of them. So try and incorporate some of those into each of your meals. You can also have an Epsom salt bath. Those float tanks, they're full of magnesium. Some people use magnesium oil on your tense areas before bed. Just to note that magnesium oil is great. Like if you've got muscle cramps or tense muscles in some part of your body, it's lovely and helpful for that, but it's not going to build your blood levels of magnesium. So you might want to supplement with a high quality magnesium supplement. Magnesium glycinate or citrate are lovely, well absorbed, like almost all of it is absorbed, as opposed to say magnesium oxide where like 5% of that might be absorbed. And if you try and take more, you're just going to end up with so yeah, there's some lovely. If you go to your health food store and you have a chat to the naturopath or nutritionist on duty there, they will be able to give you there's some blends that are made particularly for sleep. You do need to check if you're on medications, that you need to check for interactions and that it's safe for you to take and follow the dose on the box. So yeah, sometimes magnesium is needed. particularly in the holidays. So, yeah. So even with the best intentions, it still can feel really chaotic. It's great if you can plan ahead and think about recovery days and giving yourself some quiet time and quiet days. So this is really helpful for your general overall health, but also for your sleep as well. So think ahead and try and carve out some bits of time where you can just rest, relax, and have no demand and reset there mentally and physically and just do what you want to do. Maybe that might be pottering around. Sometimes when I have like no commitments, it's pottering around and doing the things that have been bothering me for ages that I haven't done, like dusting my plants or watering them, or maybe hand washing something that's been sitting there for ages. But it helps me reset and relax because I can tick it off my mental checklist. Having said that, you don't want to do too many jobs and stuff. If this is your recovery day, you do just want to really chill out and wind down and try and not be on your screen the whole time. So think of sleep as a superpower, super supplement. It's really important. It is a time when our body restores and regenerates. So without it, it really impacts our long-term health as well as how we feel right now. And it also, without enough sleep, our resilience to handle everything is just diminished. So it is super important. And I know it can feel hard to get, but I guess we have to focus on it, prioritize it even more at this phase and time of life. Because the festive season isn't meant to be about you sacrificing your sleep, your sanity, your everything so that everyone else has a magical time and magical moments. I mean, how many times have you got to Christmas Day and your kids are opening their presents and you're just exhausted and feeling grumpy, or you still got a whole bunch of stuff to do and you're not able to be present or be there because you're too busy trying to make it magical for everyone else. I want you to have a bit of magic. I want you to enjoy that as well. And one way that we can try and enjoy it is actually looking after ourselves and including sleep there as well. So yeah, let me know. Send me a message on Instagram. You can also comment and send messages through my podcast episode page on www.chaostocalmpodcast.com. What's your go-to trick for winding down during the holidays or anytime? What do you have a sleep routine? What works well for you? If you send me a message with that, and I'll share them in my stories on Instagram so that we can make Silent Night more than just a holiday song this year. And what works for you might help someone else as well. So you can find the link to those other episodes I mentioned today. There's a lot of them in the show notes, wherever you're listening, but also at www.chaostocalmpodcast.com. While you're there, while you're in the show notes, if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe so you don't miss one. And I'd also love it if you could leave a quick rating or review. It helps more women get shown and find the podcast and have other options for their perimenopause problems. And if you know someone who'd benefit from this content, please share it with them, share it with your friends. In the next episode, I'm going to be talking about the art of reflecting and goal setting for your best health in 2025. And that will be the last episode for 2024. So thank you for joining me for this episode and for all of this year. I really value you sharing your time with me. So until then, keep transforming your perimenopause from chaos to calm.